I don't believe that life insurance is an investment. Straight up. On today's video, we're going to be talking about why life insurance, when set up and used properly, is the greatest foundational asset ever. We're talking greater than your 401k, SEP IRA, real estate, even your business. This is something that we live by, and my hope is by the end of this video, you have an understanding on life insurance that enhances your view of like where you should be storing your money and what should be foundational.
Yeah, and the way I like to position it is the end asset, which is overfund whole life insurance, is the Swiss Army knife of financial products, right? We can look at all the knives in the world. You can go to Cutco and get the super shiny, super strong cut, slice it, open your hand knife,
Yep.
Or you can get a machete, right? They each have a unique, specific utility that they're used for.
Yep.
When you pull out a Swiss Army knife, you can open 4, 5, 6 different things. And it is a unique tool that is very unique to whatever it is it's trying to accomplish. And if I had to pick one knife to have for the rest of my life, that was my very first knife, It's going to be the Swiss Army knife, right? And because it's my foundation for learning, it's my foundation for the tools that can do multiple things. But as I grow and expand and things are working well for me, I may go buy a machete, I may go get a Cutco knife, et cetera, so on and so forth. So what we want to do today is we want to talk about why it is such a foundational asset. And Caleb Guilliams here, he is an artist at its best. Like we literally call him Van Gogh.
I got 2 drawings, and you're going to get one of them.
Well, Van Gogh is his nickname. So either that and Justin Bieber, which, you know, even JC is out here calling you Justin Bieber all the time. So as he watches this now, he's going to be like, give him a shout out.
This is what I'll say is when we talk about foundational, we really have to take a step back and say, okay, I made a pretty bold statement earlier that life insurance is the best foundational asset. And I called out other asset classes like real estate and business, and if you're in the market or crypto. And what do I mean by that is I don't believe that life insurance is an investment. Straight up. Life insurance is not an investment if you're trying to sell it like an investment, or if you're trying to or if people are selling you like, oh, this is a better investment than your other investments. You're not a good investor. Because even if you can get a good rate of return, like long-term life insurance will underperform good investors, businesses, and real estate. But when I think of a foundational asset, I think of something that's safe. I'm thinking of something that's multidimensional, that's covering long-term, also covering my immediate, giving me the most amount of benefits. When I think of life insurance, as it relates to the protection benefits, as it relates to the long-term growth benefits, as it relates to the immediate and ongoing control benefits, as it relates to the options I have in the future, as it relates to the ability to save more money, because I have this belief that you can save more if you have access to that, even as an asset that makes me think clear, makes me think bigger, it's life insurance, because I know that my legacy, at least from a financial standpoint, is going to be a thing regardless if I live or not. And so it's self-completing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my lovely drawing, Dom. And essentially, this is like the most basic drawing you'll see, but at the end of the day, this is how we explain life insurance, not as an investment, but as a foundational asset. And I just want you to think about this, because I know we're going to get those people in the comments that say the same old stuff about life insurance. And I'm telling you, this is not an investment. If you understand this, I think you will have an epiphany just like I did. So the one and only drawing that I'm capable of drawing is a stick figure.
Beautiful.
And again, we have to understand the human being, what the goals are and what the results are. And I'm not here saying that everyone needs a life insurance policy as a foundational asset, because 95% of people don't have the money to do this properly. So by default, I'm saying 95% of people in the US are not able to do this properly. So before I'm not trying to sell anything to anybody that this is not going to benefit. I think it's a great foundational asset for people that have assets. Okay.
But then the other 95%, the foundational asset for them could be term insurance.
I think this is interesting. What is your number one asset?
You.
It's yourself. What do I mean by that? Is the greatest asset that you have is not the market, is not crypto or real estate. It's yourself and your ability to create value. So the reason I love term insurance is you're protecting your ability to create value. So yes, I believe that insurance benefit is an amazing thing. Okay, so first of all, we got to get really clear on what we talk about is what is this person's ROR? You know, what's the result that they actually want? ROR for us stands for return on result. Then this represents the and asset. They're putting money into an and asset. Now, this dollar will literally compound for the rest of their life. So we talk about this as lifetime growth. Okay? Now, nothing crazy. It's not gonna win any compounding awards, but lifetime's a keyword, and it does it tax advantage when set up and used properly. And so over time, you can when you factor in other factors, you could put a 4 to 6% lifetime growth rate. Nothing great. It's not going to knock you over, but it's consistent, and it's consistent even when you want to control capital throughout your life. So, Dom, what is the value of having your dollars grow the rest of your life and having the ability to control capital? And I'm not going to get in this video how you control that capital. I just want people to understand, like, oh, the and asset's one of the only paper assets that allow you to do two things with your dollars instead of one. And at the same time, we're going to have a ton of videos about this on the channel. I'm going to say the word that we don't like to say around here. It's called retirement. I hate this word.
What is that?
Because the definition of retirement is to be taken out of service, and I believe that retirement's this carrot that a lot of people, it's dangling in front of them, and they're literally living a life that they don't want to live because of this made-up thing called retirement. But when we think of retirement, just think of like someday you're going to want to stop working. You want to, live off of your income assets or whatever.
Interesting. And I've never heard of her.
Yeah, right. And here's what I'll say is when it comes to quote-unquote retirement, we have to talk about creating most options and creating most certainty. And life insurance, whether we look at investing, whether we look at pensions, whether we look at annuity strategies, whether we look at real estate, whether you're a business owner, like life insurance by definition, when set up and used properly, gives you the most options and creates a lot of certainty. And those two things add up big time in the future. Another word that instead of retirement, you could call it future, like future cash flow, whatever. It's a time where life insurance will show up powerfully. At the same time, this and asset will protect your money and you. So not just protect, but also will create a legacy from day one.
I'm glad you actually wrote something in it this time. A lot of times you do this drawing and then you put the up in the circle and then don't put any words in it. And then
it's supposed to be like an umbrella. You're like protecting not only your money here, but you're protecting your life.
It's good that you let him know that's an umbrella too, because I was thinking it's more like a halo or like a lasso.
Yeah, okay. It's an umbrella. I might need to work on my drawing, okay? But here's what I also say. It's we know that, life insurance in, I'll say every state has some type of asset protection. Some states, like the state of Florida, has super, super good asset protection. And so not only are you protecting your assets, you're protecting from volatility, you're creating some certainty, but then you're also protecting your life. Mm-hmm. And there's other riders that you may add to it. Some are included that include things like, hey, in the future, if you have bad health issues, that like long-term event issues, and I can't necessarily call it a long-term care, but like there's riders like chronic illness and waiver of premium that like only enhance the contract if things happen to you and just enhance the overall result that you can get from having an asset like that.
That's really good. That's really good. And, when we're looking at it from a foundational standpoint, right, we have to think of how is like a house built, right?
Exactly.
The house is built on a strong, solid foundation. If we build it on quicksand, then the whole thing falls apart.
That's right.
And that's the problem with, majority of the financial industry is that a lot of people's homes, which is their financial portfolios, are built on quicksand.
That's right.
So then when things go south or an earthquake happens, the whole thing falls apart and they're not able to essentially recover, or and the whole building essentially collapses. But what we're doing instead is saying, hey, we're not knocking any other financial product. All we're saying is that the and asset is that core bottom piece of everything, and then from there you build up.
Yep.
You start with the foundation, then you go a little higher, and it's almost to some standpoint can get like a little riskier and a little riskier and a little riskier, and
right.
They each have their own unique tool, But you have to start with that foundational piece,
Right.
which is everything that you're mentioning here.
Yeah, and this is also what I'll say, just to give a quick plug to our And Asset channel. This video is going to be on our And Asset channel. If you are interested in life insurance, if you're either an advisor or a consumer that wants to know everything life insurance, go to our And Asset channel, or if you're there, subscribe, like this video, comment. The reason I say that, Dom, is I think we should put this on our Better Wealth channel as well, just to co-promote, because this is a foundational message that we have at Better Wealth. But like we're gonna be doing a lot more content on life insurance, and if that interests you, make sure to check out the link below. Subscribe to the channel, because again, we're gonna go into way more detail and get super analytical on each one of these elements. But here's what I'll say when it comes to foundation, and you mentioned it as well, is again, this is not gonna win any investment award. Any one thing, like could we find a cheaper way to protect using life insurance? Yeah, it's called term insurance for that year. You could make an argument that term insurance is expensive if it doesn't pay. But can we get a better growth rate? Yes, there's better assets that can grow better. Is a savings account better short term for control? Probably yes. Is there better retirement strategies? I don't know. Like that's a tough question because it's multidimensional. What I'm saying is there's no paper asset that allows you to do all these things. And my argument is, number one, can you save more money? Can you save more money in a setup like this versus a setup where you can't touch your money for the next 30 years? Or putting your money all into it, you hope it grows, but you're not sure. My argument is, as a foundational asset, you can save a whole lot more money than in an investment. That's number one. And then number two is, I believe as a human being, the way that you show up in your life, how you think, matters. And even though we can't put a rate of return on it, I think it matters, and we need to learn how to measure it. So my question is, are you able to show up more powerfully, more intentionally, invest better because of life insurance? Some people might say no. The clients that are properly educated that work with us, I think, would say yes, because they're playing a lifetime game, a generational game. They're not playing a get-rich-quick-now game. And so, in a sense, life insurance, when set up and used properly, the fact that it's more conservative by nature can be a good thing, even working with people that are very, like, want to take risks, want to make it big, like, have a solid foundation, because you can only build a big building if you have a solid foundation. I think the same thing with wealth. If you get really wealthy really fast but don't have a solid foundation, you could also lose that wealth pretty quickly. And so I know I'm rambling on, but when it comes to a foundational asset, you're going to see this drawing a lot. If you're on the Better Wealth channel, this might be the first time you've seen this, but this is not the first time I've drawn this on the channel. And like everything that we teach going forward on the And Asset channel is going to be like really in detail case studies on how people use this foundational asset in different ways, how the math works. But if we, from a big picture, don't get it, then we just focus on metrics that really don't matter.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that I could keep saying, but you've said a lot of great things, and I think honestly it's a great way to end this video.
All right, so do me a favor. If you're listening to this on our podcast, thank you. Go to YouTube, type in And Asset, and our channel will pop up, and subscribe, and you might be like one of the first people to subscribe, and so make sure to let us know. And if you're watching this on Better Wealth YouTube channel, take a moment. Please subscribe to the channel. Please let us know, because we're building a pretty fired up community that's going to help us take this message and hopefully see 1 million people get this foundational asset in their life during our lifetime, man. It's going to be amazing.
Amazing.